Ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is scheduled for 4 rounds in the Super Bantamweight division. Introducing first, boxing out of the blue corner to my left, wearing black trunks with white lettering and a white top. She's a world-renowned combat sports athlete and even a veteran of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. She comes to us all the way from São Paulo, Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, Kalindra Faria. And her opponent, standing directly across the ring, fighting out of the red corner to my right, wearing black trunks with white and silver trim and a black top. She's a 2024 National Golden Gloves finalist and a certified badass mother from Milton, Massachusetts. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Perella. 4 rounds, Super Bantamweights.
Big pop for Jen Perella. I expect big things out of her here tonight. Like I said, talked to a few officials today behind the scenes, and I heard this girl can punch.
So, as you heard from Peter Zimbor, a 2024, that's this year, Golden Gloves finalist. What changes from the amateur Golden Gloves game to the pro level?
You know, I always tell my fighters, I have a lot of open class athletes now in the amateur, so they fight 3-minute rounds, but it's still amateur boxing. It's a different pace even than a pro fight. I just had recently Axel Lopez just scored a 3rd-round knockout and just made his professional debut. He's an open class amateur. Even in the amateurs, even though you have a 3-minute round, it's still a little bit of a faster pace. It's just a lot more exchanges. You only have 3 rounds, so losing that extra round, you really gotta win. You really gotta throw caution to the wind. Having that extra round in the pros makes for a little bit slower pace, a pro pace, a more modified, relaxed pace, and it's a little bit more that Jen Perella is going to have to get used to. You see right now she's throwing a lot of punches and bunches. Nice right hand by Jen Perella. One thing I heard from Jen is that, she does have that amateur style where she does throw punches and bunches. She does know how to win an amateur fight. But when she needs to, she can sit down on her shots. But this is not an easy out for your pro debut, Matt. This is a tough pro debut.
Both of these ladies are absolutely shredded. If I were in the great what-if question, I think my hands would start hurting if I threw one shot to the body of either of these.
Yeah. I mean, these girls are in good shape. They're both amazing athletes. You have a National Golden Gloves finalist, a Golden Gloves champion in one corner, and then the other corner you have a UFC veteran. And I mean, this isn't just mixed martial arts we're talking about. We're talking about the mecca of mixed martial arts, the UFC. This is the creme de la creme. And Kalindra has 3 fights on that stage. So you're talking about 2 legitimate athletes right here right now. Jen's doing a good job. She's almost doing like a small switch stance. She's really stepping over with her right foot, almost switching to southpaw, but not really. Tight round, but I'm going to give that round to Jen Perella. And that's what's going to win Jen this fight is her boxing prowess. You see Jen right here, stepping back, going for that right hand. And this is that little switch step that she was doing. She doesn't completely switch her stance, but she squares up here and throws a little right hand and pop shots it over the top. But it was landing. She lands it there again. Kalindra, though, for a mixed martial artist, showing really good boxing skills. But, I mean, a big part of mixed martial arts is boxing. So, I mean, these guys and girls, they train this. Always a big adjustment going from the amateurs to the pros. I mean, aside from the style, right, stylistically, just the atmosphere. It's a completely different atmosphere, a different crowd. Your attire is different. Now you're getting rid of the headgear. Your gloves are getting smaller. The style of fighting is different. You know what I mean? Like, just the whole vibe is different. You're being recorded. It's broadcasted, There's a lot of big changes going from amateur to pro. But so far, so good for Jen Perella. She's dealing with it well. She's rising to the occasion. And she looks good in her pro debut, but Kalindra is here to fight. See, I don't know if that's the best game plan for Jen, but, I mean, it seems to be working a little bit right now, but I feel like Kalindra might catch her when she kind of does that little switch step. I definitely see the amateur style from Perella. A lot of punches, snappy shots. Good little check hook there by Jen Perella. Kalindra's right there with her.
You can see Faria's kind of the MMA stance where she's switching, or at least closing up and then reopening once she gets a little bit of separation.
Yeah, she's doing it in a smooth way, though. You know, she'll be orthodox, and then she'll take a little, a little switch step. She'll stay southpaw for just a quick second, just to kind of offset the time, and then get back to orthodox. She's a little flicky with her jab, and Perella's doing a good job of capitalizing with the right hand after. You see Jen Perella again right there. She does that. She shoots that right hand and kind of switches her stance, squares up a little bit there, but it is landing for her, so. Another right hand by Jen Perella. I mean, this is the fight that has go the distance written all over it. You know, you got two, really good athletes. Jen Perella doing a good job, going head and body right there. What's your take and stance on, female boxing 2-minute rounds?
I think you should extend it to 3.
100%. I mean, these girls train just as hard as the men. It's pro boxing. One of the things that makes it pro boxing is the 3-minute rounds. Extend it to 3 minutes, you know what I mean? Give these girls more time to fight.
It's a conversation that we've had time and time again here on Boston Boxing Promotions broadcasts, is that these are some of the most competitive fights that we're going to see all night.
Yeah.
I want to see as much of this fight as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm sitting here right now watching this fight, and I'm watching the teeter-totter and, the back and forth of these two women. And just when I start getting into it, the round gets cut short. You know what I mean? And, give these girls the 3 minutes to fight, man.
One thing I did notice is
these women.
Jen Perella started towards the end of that round to kind of have her mouth open, kind of starting to breathe a little bit heavier.
Yeah, and that could be due to a lot of things, you know what I mean? That could be due to, the whole atmosphere. Like I said, this is your pro debut. She has a big crowd here tonight, a lot of support. Big expectations, being a 2024 National Golden Gloves finalist, being a Golden Gloves New England champion. There's a lot riding on her right now, and they say 80% of your gas kind of gets taken from you when the announcer and Peter Zimmer is announcing your name right there. Your legs start to go, your gas starts to go, so that's why you have to be in that much better physical shape, because once you step, up these stairs right here, it's the longest steps in the world, man, and standing in that corner, it's the loneliest corner in the world, and takes a lot out of you before you throw your first punch. Amateur or pro, but being your pro debut is a little bit of,
And a nice long walkout through a pretty packed house.
That's what it is, you know what I mean? It's a packed house. Everybody's kind of on top of you. There's a lot expected of you. It can take a lot out of you before you even get in there. But Jen's adjusting well. This will be good for her, As much experience as she has in the amateurs, she does not have that experience as a pro. She's getting that experience tonight. And getting 4 rounds under her belt tonight is going to be extremely advantageous to her career. These are the fights that you want, You don't want the one-touch knockouts. You want these fights to kind of build that character. And again, sounds crazy because you're like, oh, she has all these amateur fights. Well, those are amateur fights. This is a pro fight. It's a whole different game. And these fighters that you see more in the amateurs, these mixed martial artists transitioning over to boxing, these tough MMA vets, you don't really see that in the amateur ranks as much. And that right there, even though they don't have as much amateur boxing experience, it's a stylistic change and it's something to get used to as a pro boxer. So her seeing, a mixed martial artist in front of her who's tough and grizzled is nothing like she's ever seen really in the amateurs. She's standing, in the open class in amateurs, she's standing across from another woman who has 10-plus fights like her. You know what I mean? That timing's there. There's that switch stance from Jen Perella from the southpaw stance. Landed a nice right hook right there.
She's able to catch Faria kind of turning, and we'll take another look at.
That being said, due to her, great output right now, which she did carry over from her amateur career, I would say Jen's up 3-0.
Now that being said, 3 very close rounds.
3 very close rounds. I would not be surprised if one of those rounds was a swing round and went to Kalindra. But I do believe with her output and the shots that she's landed that Jen Perella is comfortably ahead right now. I believe that's her husband in her corner, in Jen Perella's corner. It might be.
We'll await word from BoxRec Gray.
Let us know, Gray, but I'm pretty sure. Which is an interesting dynamic. It's a cool dynamic.
Both women come out firing here to start.
Yeah, I mean, Kalindra's here to win. She's not taking any backward steps. She's fighting through and through. This might be one of those fights, too. What are the judges looking at? You know what I mean? I mean, you have Jen kind of fighting, with that amateur style. She's in and out. She's stepping over with her right hand. She's pop-shotting a lot. You got Kalindra kind of sitting down on her shots, forward pressure. Not as many, but when she does land, it's a quality shot. I've trained a few female Golden Gloves champions, New England champions, myself in New England, and I've seen this style that Jen Perella is, exemplifying right here a lot in the amateur ranks.
Can't wait for the National Golden Gloves to be back in town for the first time.
It's going to be amazing.
In a very long time, come this winter and spring.
Jen's doing a good job of using that check hook, changing direction when she needs to. And good job not staying in the ropes as well. Kalindra's really trying to get her back to the ropes, and that's what she did well against Melanie Costa. She in spots got Costa back to the ropes and tried to unload. But Perella's doing a really good job moving her feet, clinching and turning as she needs. But this right here has been Kalindra's best round, for sure, round 4. Might even be winning it.
Now has Perella in the corner.
Yeah, you see Kalindra, I mean, she's landing quality, hard shots. Jen Perella again with that right hook. I would say that's a slip. She's going to call that a slip. Melissa Kelly refereeing this fight. From what I heard, was a very tough amateur boxer in her own right back in the day. Not really talked about a lot.
So that is going.
I would say round 4, Kalindra stole it. I'm going to go 3 rounds to 1 in my opinion.
I agree, but as we talked about, one of those first 3 rounds very easily in one or two of these judges' eyes.
Could be a draw.
Could it be a swing round?
Could be a swing round. This could be a draw. It could go in Kalindra's favor, but personally, I think Perella did enough. I think it's a 3-1 victory for her. Close fight, though. Close fight, and I would say Perella needs to make some adjustments going forward in her pro career. Has great skills, but still, approaching it with kind of that amateur style. I would say, sit on that right hand a little bit more. I heard she has fantastic power. I'd like to see her turn over that right hand a little bit more and, really start sinking onto those shots. But again, like I said, this was not an easy out for your pro debut. So credit to Jen Perella, credit to her team for accepting the fight, and credit to Peter Zimor for making this fight. This is a great fight for the fans. Kalindra believes she won.
There is only 3 people in the room that know the outcome at this point. Very spirited battle between Kalindra Faria and Jen Perella. Two ladies that I would love to see on future cards here for Boston Boxing Promotions.
Kalindra?
Both of them.
Both of them, for sure. Unbelievable fights. You can make such exciting female matchups with these 2 boxers. Unbelievable.
We will send it up to Peter Zimborg for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the most technically sound, fundamentally sound fight tonight came from 2 women under 130 pounds. I think these are two badass mamas who deserve a rousing round of applause from everyone in Andover, Massachusetts tonight. We go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Joe Appice sees the fight 39-37 for Perella. Judge Cardarelli scores the fight 39-37 for Faria. Judge Eddie Scunzio scores the fight 39-37 for your winner via split decision, Kalindra Faria.
So, Aaron, there we go.
There we go. Like you said, Matt, and I'm definitely not going to deny it. Very, very close rounds tonight. Perella really presented an amateur style tonight. Very fun, like Peter said, fundamentally sound, but very amateur style. She was stepping with her shots, not really sitting on them. What you saw from Kalindra was her coming forward and landing quality punches. And again, this isn't amateur boxing. This is pro boxing. So it's going to take Jen Perella to make a slight stylistic change to see some more success in the pro ranks. But that being said, very close fight. I personally did. I'm not going to switch up. I did have Jen Perella winning. I thought she won it 3-1. Although those 3 rounds were very close, and I could see them being swing rounds. So, hey, congrats to Kalindra Faria, unbelievable opponent, and congrats to Jen Perella and her team for taking this pro debut. She should not hang her head low. This was a tough opponent in front of her, and she only got better from this tonight. So,
all 3 judges had scores of 39-37. Which round of those first 3 do you think was the difference maker?
I think 2 and 4. Yeah, I think 2 and 4 were the big swing rounds. Maybe 2 and 3. I think Kalindra won 4 pretty convincingly. I think Perella won 1 pretty convincingly. I'm going to say it was 2 and 3. Those middle rounds were really swing rounds. You and me, we looked at each other. We kind of weren't sure. I thought Perella landed the more punches, but I would say that Kalindra landed the more quality blows. Kind of Canelo Triple G-ish. So, yeah, interesting fight. That's pro boxing for you. That's boxing in general for you. A little bit of an upset. Definitely a big upset. But like we said, quality female fight right there.
Just the second card second bout that has been decided by the judges. This the first split decision as we move into the co-main event.